And now for a very special session on India Today E Mind Rocks 2020. We're joined by actor, director, sportsperson, activist, and in many people's eyes, a thinking person star, Rahul Bose. Rahul, great to have you here on E Mind Rocks. Great to see you as well. Bulbul is something that everyone's been watching. Congratulations on the success of a wonderful film. How does it feel? Beautiful film, very, very deep, double role by you in it.
It feels wonderful on two levels. One is that people have appreciated the movie. Um, there will always be some people who don't like a piece of art, which is great. I mean,
Yeah.
more power to them. But in the main, most people seem to have really been surprised by its aesthetics, by its texture, by the quality of the storytelling,
Yeah.
by the technical finesse of the film, but beneath it all, by the fact that it's a simple fable that so many of us have heard at our grandmother's knees, so to
Mm.
speak, at night or in the afternoon, as all the kids cluster around this wonderful aged storyteller, and she tells you these stories. And it's said in that way. It's like a fable, really. So on one level, I'm overjoyed that Bulbul has met with success outside of what the supernatural lovers would love.
Yes.
It's not really a horror film, so I can't call it horror lovers. But I think it's crossed. It's crossed to people like you and me who otherwise wouldn't gravitate. I don't know about you, Shiv, but I wouldn't gravitate towards this naturally supernatural
Mm.
genre film. The second, obviously, the more obvious reason why I'm happy is because people have appreciated my work.
Yeah.
But that's not the only reason. I've done as good, if not better, work in the past, which nobody has seen. Very few
Mm.
people have seen.
I can tell you
Whether
I
it's
have, but yeah.
yeah, whether it's the Japanese wife or whether it's Oni's I Am, both of which I consider to be very satisfying performances for me. But
Yes.
people didn't watch it because of uh, many factors. Most importantly, the fact that your publicity budgets are low, and
Mm.
if there aren't famous people on the poster, people don't come to the cinema halls.
Yeah.
So uh, that's one reason. The second reason, Shiv, is COVID.
Yeah.
People have There's nothing competing for Bulbul's attention aside from other stuff on OTT platforms.
Mm.
So in that respect, there's a lot of attention being riveted onto anything new that's coming out, especially from the big platforms like Netflix and Amazon.
Yes.
Uh, and third is it's not a shabby performance, so I guess I'm just happy.
Not far from a shabby performance, and I agree. I mean, you've had fantastic work before as well, so not for a moment am I suggesting that this is suddenly a great performance. I
Sure.
actually happen to have seen a lot of those films that you mentioned. Rahul, no spoilers, of course, because people are still devouring this film on Netflix as we speak. But, in a film that's replete with very arresting images and scenes. There is, of course, one scene, and I'd like to just pick that out without putting out any spoilers. It's the moment when you assault your wife in the film. That's stuck in many people's minds. People talk about all that. I was in the newsroom just now, just before this interview, and everybody talked about that one scene just before this interview. What was shooting that scene like, Rahul?
So the scene has turned out to be mythic, but it was never that way for me.
Hmm.
I was just playing Indranil. But with Jatayu and then the Sitaharan, the whole painting at the back, Raja Ravi Varma's, and the fact that you see the entire scene in an oval swing, a mirror from old with a frame, it's such a beautiful image.
Yes.
And then when you slow it down to, I don't know how many frames per second they slowed it down to, but it must have been about 100, 200 frames. Then, as it is when you slow even Chariots of Fire, somebody's running, and when you
Hmm.
want to give
Hmm.
it the when you want to give it a feel of posterity or a mythic feel, you do that.
Yes.
But here, my God, the combination of the art direction, the production design, the lighting, the camera work, and what I was made to do with the flecks of blood was just extraordinary.
Yeah.
For me, in fact, the toughest moment had come before, because in the script it says Indranil sees the embers and pieces of paper in the fireplace, and from there flutter up the words Bulbul and Satya, and so it reaffirms his growing jealousy
Yes.
and possessiveness. And then, he confronts Bulbul and smashes her feet to pulp. Now, how do you go from anger and jealousy to incoherent rage and violence?
Yeah.
So that bridge is I would think, 20-second bridge with
Right.
no words, nothing. So that for me was the part that really was challenging. That could I cross? Could I
Yeah.
foreshadow that this is the kind of guy he is without giving it away? And maybe sometimes your rage catches you by surprise also, Shiv.
Yeah.
I mean, we curse people on the road, but suddenly if something sparks a kind of a physical confrontation,